So somehow we have come at that time again, and it's prediction time, which is just crazy because I swear it was Royal Rumble prediction time like yesterday, and now it is July the 30th. But this weekend we do have SummerSlam 2024, probably going to be the last ever SummerSlam that is one night, so if you're into single day events, you should enjoy that, which is a weird thing to say. I believe there are 7 matches. Sometimes I do get confused. 7 doesn't feel like a lot for SummerSlam, especially because I was convinced they were going to make this one go super long, so they go, this is why we need to do 2 nights. But let's not stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne, and let's get into it. I'm going to start with Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker because I'm starting with the ones I am confident about, and I think Sami Zayn is about to lose his Intercontinental Championship for 2 reasons. One, I don't think you could have Braun Breaker lose back-to-back pay-per-views, premium live events. I think that would be a terrible idea. I didn't mind him losing at Money in the Bank. I think something that wrestling by and large needs to do better, or maybe we as fans need to accept more, is sometimes people can win and sometimes people can lose. Now, of course, if you do get a lot of wins and you are protected, you are going to have that star aura. But I like to see wrestling as sports, and everyone loses in sports, right? It's a flip of a coin. Sometimes the bottom team can beat the top team, and that's what makes it so exciting, and you can make a story out of that as well. But I still don't think you should do that with Braun. I think he needs to win. I think him becoming the Intercontinental Champion so soon into his Raw run, main roster run, is going to be absolutely badass. But also, given that Sami Zayn is now teaming up and going, Jey Uso, I love you, you're my best friend, surely post-SummerSlam, Roman Reigns, who is a free agent, by the way, so can turn up on Raw, is going to go on an OG Bloodline recruitment drive, and he will find Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, and he will get them to team up with him and Jimmy, I suppose, to get the Usos reuniting as well when they go and take on the new Bloodline. That is brilliant. That is good stuff. And you don't need the Intercontinental title or any championship being tied up in that, because the story is enough. Roman coming back is enough. He's a super duper whooper star. So, you could argue you could maybe squash Sami Zayn, but I wouldn't do that. I would give this some time. I would let them have an amazing back and forth, and then wham bam, whoopsie-doo, big old spear, and Braun Breaker gets the win. And then he probably goes straight into a feud with Ilya Dragunov, because notice that he wasn't on Raw this gone week because he got beaten up by Braun, which is why he probably could have beaten him then, but we've talked about that. I don't want to talk about it again. And again, we don't want to beat him too much, to say the least. But no, I think Sami Zayn will win this, and I'm so confident of it, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 Miller prediction, secure, guarantee, which is something I just made up and is the worst thing ever, and I regret it coming out of my mouth. But Sami Zayn's had a terrific run, and also it's time to change some belts, right? Roman held the belt for ages, Gunther held his belt for ages, everybody was holding championships for a long time. I'm not saying hot potato here, but I am saying have a bit more fun with it. Which is the same for Logan Paul versus LA Knight, right? Logan Paul doesn't need to hold that championship anymore. We put it on him. I mean, he certainly deserved it from a wrestling skill point of view, but he comes and goes so much. I think it's really important, if you watch a lot of my content, forgive me for just repeating myself all the time, but we have to talk about it. But we need to turn that into the Intercontinental title, because for me, when I look at it, the IC Championship is still a little bit ahead of the US Championship, because we need someone to Gunther that belt, and LA Knight is the guy, because he's the complete opposite to Gunther. Everybody loves him. He can be the babyface in peril, or whatever the flub you want him to be, and that is a belt that he should hold till WrestleMania, and then if somebody is in the right position, they can beat LA Knight. But if there's anybody who has deserved that kind of opportunity, it is LA Knight, who has managed to keep himself over and keep himself basically in main event status without ever actually being in the main event. And him beating Logan Paul is just going to make you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. Now, of course, I'm recording this way before SmackDowns. We don't know what WWE is going to do there, but they should absolutely have it. So Logan Paul whoops his ass, because that's the best thing to do when we are leading into a pay-per-view. The guy that's going to lose gets the up, and then you get to the Saturday or the Sunday, whatever it may be, and the guy that was on the down then gets his up. It's just nice and easy wrestling booking. I'm just intrigued to see how the match is going to go, because Logan Paul is on a bit of a tear at the moment, but I think with someone like LA Knight, you want to do it a little bit differently, because I hate terms like this, but people know what I'm referring to. LA Knight, in a positive way, I'm saying this with as much gusto as possible, is very much a sports entertainment wrestler, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like tangent, right? It's like SubQuest, side quest. I can't stand it when people are like, man, LA Knight's such a basic wrestler. What do you want him to do? 450s? No, I like the way he wrestles. It works for his character. I presume that there is going to be some kind of surprise, which Logan Paul has already teased. We'll probably see some brass knucks. But LA Knight should be the smart babyface to circumvent all of that when, yes, he brings home the gold. And that one is going to feel awesome. And then we've kind of switched around the mid-tier belts as well, right? A bad guy on Raw is going to have one, and a good guy on SmackDown is going to have the other one. There's nothing wrong with that, and they're going to feel like not big matches, because we have big matches sculpted out elsewhere, but the point is that we are taking these championships and telling people they are important, and that should always be the story. No matter who is holding them, winning, losing, whatever, that should be the story. And I think that may be... Oh no, I think there's one more title change. Let's talk about it. Bayley versus Nia Jax. I think you got to give it to Nia Jax. Now, I have a video about this that I need to get on because it's going to be out of date soon. The booking of Bayley post WrestleMania has been very strange. I thought she should have like a proper feud that she could get her teeth into, which we do have with Nia Jax, but I think maybe we took too long to get there. But we have now stacked the odds against her. Like, I think Meeching is at home injured or something, or maybe not actually. That was on Raw. I don't know. The point is this, that even if Meeching is in Bayley's corner, or maybe Naomi comes out to help or something like that, you now have Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, who have established we are best friends, we are buddies, we love each other. I'm sure that Nia Jax is going to give Tiffany Stratton a brand new briefcase on SmackDown, which will secure that relationship, which means, Nia Jax can be in a state of peril. Tiffany Stratton does something, smashes Bayley with the briefcase, whatever it is, gets her revenge because it was Bayley that screwed her over, allowing Nia Jax to hit the Annihilator and then become the world champion. This is good because then Bayley can be the babyface chasing again, which I think she needs to ensure that we really get behind her and start putting on posters, for goodness sake. But also, it means you can start telling the story, which I do think is quite fun. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton are at polar opposite ends of the spectrum because Tiffany wants to cash in on her now friend who has the belt. That's just brilliant odd couple stuff. And if you do come up with some good skits, it could be quite funny and it could be entertaining. Some people are saying they want Tiffany Stratton to cash in. No way. To make sure that we respect what we did with Drew McIntyre and to respect what we've started to do with the women's Money in the Bank briefcase, we have to prolong it. Women cash in that briefcase, well, I'm not going to say too soon all of the time, because every other time they've done it, it's mostly been okay. But now that we only have one, this is the one that needs to be in play. And the longer Tiffany has it, the more that she can take her slow climb to being at the top of the card. And she should successfully cash in, but maybe not against against Nia Jax. I would argue Nia Jax probably eventually loses because Tiffany makes a mistake, which doesn't actually cash in her briefcase, although it's going to feel like it. But I think the whole top of the card on the SmackDown women's division needs a little bit of a shuffle, and Bayley should absolutely be the champion again. I'm not saying that, and she should remain at that level, but I think we kind of need to put a heel in charge so that we can almost get the goodness back in Bayley's legs, and then before the end of the year, if not a WrestleMania, she should win that back. But it's been a strange old 6 months, and I think Nia Jax now is probably doing the best work of her career, and she's a heel through and through. I just think that will work, so I'm going to advocate for it. I think Nia Jax should win. And I'm looking forward to that match because I find that Nia often surprises a lot of people when she gets put in these positions, and Bayley has to be the most underrated worker in the entire company. People forget how good she is. Like, she is someone that WWE has relied on so many times over the years because they know deep down in their tootsie toes that Bayley is going to go out there and deliver. Go back and watch that Io Sky match. It was brilliant. But yes, I'm going with Nia Jax after Tiffany Stratton pulls some shenanigans. And we'll just talk about Damien Priest versus Gunther here for the World Heavyweight Championship. If you had asked me even a week ago, I would have said Gunther was definitely winning. It's going to be Gunther. But after the build, which has been tremendous, by the way, and kudos to both Damien Priest and Gunther for doing an absolutely terrific job with this and making them feel like they could be the main event. Like, if this was over 2 nights, they could absolutely main event them on the Saturday. I didn't realize how close Bash at Berlin was. It's like 3 weeks after SummerSlam. It's the end of August. That is, in WWE land, that is Gunther's hometown. He's from Austria, obviously. But that's the place to crown him. Like, you can have Damien Priest win here. You can have Damien Priest surprise him. Hopefully, clean as a whistle. Only because Damien Priest, obviously, since the WrestleMania when he did cash in, he's kind of been caught up in the Bloodline and the Judgment Day and then everything with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So I think he should just win this one and surprise everyone. It should be what we talked about at the start of this video, a surprise win. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, that guy just beat Gunther. Doesn't matter, because in 3 weeks we'll go to Berlin, and in the main event we'll do the rematch, and that's where Gunther can finally take his crown. Now, you are going to have to make that make sense, because Damien Priest would be well within his right to turn around and go, no, I beat you, you absolute goober. But that's what I think we should do. I think this match is going to be great. I think given the way that Gunther has approached this title, that's how we should sell it. The World Heavyweight Championship is a prestigious championship, and we love it. We are going to respect it. Maybe after the match, maybe Damien Priest surprises him with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Just don't do it in another match. And maybe Gunther is so startled that he did get beaten with what is a respective wrestling move, even if it is overdone, and then he whoops Damien Priest's ass after the fact. And then, yeah, you can say Damien's so mad. He goes, I'll beat you on your own home turf, whatever you want to say. Especially because Damien Priest kind of sold this as the ring is now the streets. And so he's coming into his neighborhood. So Gunther can say, well, you can literally come into mine. I'm going to take your metaphor and your analogy, and I'm literally going to apply it to real life. I'm very excited about this. I think both guys are going to come out the other side feeling like they could main event any show. I hope the main event WrestleMania, probably not going to happen because it's just too busy. But we've done such a good job with them in 2024. I think we need to stretch this out. And then maybe we can do another one at Bad Blood or whatever the hell the pay-per-view is after Bash at Berlin. I would do a third one, and then Gunther can put that to bed. And by that point, I'm sure the Judgment Day would have disintegrated, and and we'll move on to Damien Priest versus Finn Balor, which will also rule. And don't forget as well, if that is the plan, if Damien Priest beats Gunther, given that Finn Balor lost to Gunther on Raw, which was terrific, by the way, I love that, and you should check that match out, that can be a bee in Finn's bonnet as well, and maybe Damien even says the wrong thing. Well, I was able to beat him and you weren't. Finn's like, you absolute terrible person. Why did you say it to me? But either way, I'm changing my mind. I'm going with Damien Priest. He's going to retain, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. But then, yes, we get to the end of August, and very sadly, the run will be over. But my word, did he do a good job of it. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley is also going to be full of shenanigans, as it has to be. And if Dominic Mysterio was a special guest referee in this one, I wouldn't have minded it. But of course, we've moved that elsewhere. I think that Liv Morgan is going to retain this title, right? Because Dom will come out. Maybe he's there to start with Rhea Ripley. They have been they were so nicey nice on Raw this week. There was no animosity. Apart from Liv Morgan burning pictures of Dom and his moustache. She plays that role really well, by the way. I think Liv Morgan's another person that's really taken 2024 by the horns. But just when Rhea Ripley is about to win, Dominic Mysterio will do something. It can be whatever it is. Maybe he twiddles his facial hair, and Rhea's like, man, that thing really is disgusting, and that distracts her. But this will be full distraction shenanigan finish. Liv Morgan probably hits the Oblivion. 1, 2, 3. They make out. They run away like, haha, it was a ruse the entire time. We have been having an affair. And Rhea Ripley is then going to become the meanest, most badass person ever. Now, I've seen some people saying, we can't do that to Rhea Ripley. It will make her look stupid. I'm sorry, that don't make her look stupid. You find me any human being on this planet, apart from a select few, who haven't let their guard down because of feelings. It happens to the best of us, and it happens to the worst of us. That's the whole point. You can be a right dickhead, but matters of the heart makes your brain go all funny, and you don't see what's right in front of your eyes. It's all about the comeback, and it's all about the revenge. Don't forget, there is a Bad Blood pay-per-view on the horizon. You could do the rematch there and put them in a mega stipulation. Put them in a cage, put them in a no-holds-barred match, a street fight, and Rhea Ripley absolute kills Liv Morgan, and then she wins her world championship. That way we establish Dom and Liv as the natural thing. Morgan gets to stretch out her title reign, which nobody would have seen coming at one point, and has the win over Rhea, which she can shout about on Raw, which establishes her at the top of the card like we keep talking about. But before the end of the year, Rhea has it back and we move into WrestleMania, and she fights whoever the flub she is going to fight. But I think that is the way to do it, unless we're going to pull a fast one and Dominic Mysterio stays with Rhea Ripley, but that seems like a silly waste of time to me, especially because we are going to break the Judgment Day up, and that is going to draw a line right down the middle, because Damien's going to be like, Dom, what are you doing? And I bet Finn Balor is like, it's none of our business, man, because don't forget, he pocketed that key card as well, so something is going on here. So I'm very excited about this match as well. Again, great work all around from all three. It's a genuinely interesting thing to see, and the best thing about this is, it's great that the title is involved. You get rid of the title, and you would still have the elements there. Like, it's actually got personal beef to it, and any match is better with personal beef. But no, I'm going with Liv Morgan, courtesy of help from Dominic. I have a feeling it may be something we talk about for a long-ass time. When we get to CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee, you could do about 622 things with this, and all of them would probably be fine. On Raw, we had all of them in the ring. Totally convinced they hate each other now, so they've worked me good, but that's a couple of thumbs up. And if it is true, I don't care, because they're doing business together, as long as they're happy deep down in their tum-tums. We've talked about this on another video. I think we absolutely have to do the SummerSlam 1997 finish. If you've not seen that, it was Bret Hart versus The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, basically doing exactly what Seth was doing. I'm in charge. You listen to me. There will be a winner. I'm going to count the three in all of this. And then eventually Bret and Shawn fall out with each other because they hate each other, which we tease very strongly on Raw with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. CM Punk got in Seth's face and said, you don't like me. You have the inability to call this down the middle, which is what Bret did to Shawn. And eventually, they may even do, I copy it verbatim. Who the hell cares, right? It's a fantasy in a good way. Let's use these ideas, and wrestling is cyclical. But Bret was so annoyed that Shawn was administering him in the ring because he was going to use a chair. He went and spat the most disgusting loogie right in HBK's face. And because Shawn had retrieved the chair from the hitman, so he hadn't got it himself, he was trying to be a good guy, he lost his mind. It was a crime of passion. He goes to swing for Hart, who gets out of the way. He tonks Undertaker in the head. We don't need to do that. We can come up with another way. And because he is down, Bret looks right, Bret looks left, and he pins him. And there's this really cool moment, which I'd also steal, when Bret and Shawn lock eyes, and Bret kind of gives him you got to do it, bro, otherwise you're in trouble. And Shawn even reacts like, damn it, I've totally screwed up here. And then we went in to the Undertaker Shawn Michaels feud, which actually went to Bad Blood then as well. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, as we did the first ever Hell in a Cell, which is still my favorite Hell in a Cell match. But that's what I would do. Drew McIntyre gets the win, essentially because Seth has just floored CM Punk. So I guess in that, I've got that wrong there. I guess it would be Drew and Seth getting into it, and Seth goes to hit Drew and accidentally hits Punk. But that's fine, right? It doesn't matter because each of them have such a personal hatred of the other. You can sew this up however you want. But I think Drew McIntyre has to win win the first one. He's the bad guy. He's the heel. If we are going to do another one at Bad Blood or wherever it may be, maybe the third one at the Royal Rumble, you want the bad guy to win, even though he could become the good guy, depending on how you're looking at it. And there is just something poetic about CM Punk losing his first match on pay-per-view, taking away the Royal Rumble, his first single match on pay-per-view. So I'm super excited about this. I think Seth Rollins is going to do a great job. Punk's going to do a great job. Drew is going to do a great job. If you're one of these absolute idiots on the internet saying, oh man, Punk's going to get injured again, wishing hurt on anybody just makes you a terrible human and you need to rethink your life. I hope they all can go backstage and give each other massive hugs when they do like each other or not, and just say a job well done. Because if they do a good job, it means that we are going to enjoy even more as well, because that's always the way. That kind of feeling and emotion resonates through the television screen. This will probably be one of the matches of the night as well, mostly because I'll be sitting there going, I have no idea what is going to happen, and that is the wrestling secret sauce, and you know it's good. We did a video about SummerSlam main events the other day. It'll be on the screen right, do give it a click. Sometimes they didn't have world title matches in the main event slot because things sort of, I guess, were bigger than it. And I never liked that. I think if you've got world championships, you should try and figure it in. But this absolutely is an exception to the rule. If you told me this was going in the last match of the night, I'd have no problem with it. It would just actually get me even more hyped because I'd be like, what the hell are they planning? So massively just great all around. It's been terrific performances. And I guess before the end of the year or early 2025, we're going to get Punk versus Drew one-on-one. And you're going to get Drew versus Seth. And you get Punk versus Drew and Punk versus Seth. I'm getting confused here, but you're going to get a love triangle worth of matches. It's excellent. It's 5-star stuff. I'm going Drew McIntyre after Seth screws over Punk. Which brings us to Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa ain't winning the undisputed WWE title. He's not. The reason we have done this is because Cody is going to separate himself from the bloodline at the end of this, because Roman Reigns is going to return, and that means we're going to get the Civil War at Survivor Series. I'm totally convinced of it. I've got no problem with that. Once again, I think Solo Sikoa has done a great job over the last few months. Some people don't agree, and that's fine. We can't all see things the same way. The big question is only, when does Roman Reigns return? Does he return before the end? Does he return after we've got the 1, 2, 3? We did a whole video on this where people are like, oh, well, Roman can't do that because it makes Cody look stupid. No, it doesn't. I get maybe sort of the backstage real life with Cody being like, I don't want that to happen. But in terms of the television screen, again, it's like Batman and Superman helping each other out. It's like comic book characters. It's the Avengers coming together. And as long as you pitch it that way, and especially because they're going to go off in their own directions, I just think it's a great moment for the fans, which is what wrestling should always be about, and it does make sense. Why the hell wouldn't Roman come back after Solo Sikoa has been calling him out all of these weeks? So whether you do it before or whether you do it after, it doesn't matter, because the bloodline will swarm Cody, and you still have a bunch of people that can come out there to help. You can have Kevin Owens come back, you can have Randy Orton come back, you could do something with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. I mean, it'd be a bit of a stretch, but it wouldn't be too crazy. It's probably more likely to be a Jimmy Uso. But if Jimmy Uso, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton are the 3 people that keep the rest of the bloodline out of there when they are trying to interfere, and that allows Cody to hit his 3 crossroads, which he loves to do, and get the 1, 2, 3. That's totally cool. And then after that, you get Holla GB, and Roman Reigns comes back. That to me is just an amazing end to SummerSlam. And then sure, you've kept that, I guess, issue away from Cody, even though I personally don't think it is an issue, but maybe other people will. But if SummerSlam ends with Roman Reigns looking at Solo Sikoa and probably looking at Cody too, who is celebrating there with his championship, and maybe even an RKO if you want to start the Randy Orton feud, but that's way too soon. I don't think that's a bad end to the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. I think it would get people talking, and again, Roman Reigns being back for the first time in May, June, July, August, 4 months is going to get a reaction either way, and that's the point. But Cody Rhodes is going to win. You don't need to bet up Solo Sikoa right now. There is a feud right there with Roman, which doesn't need a title. Again, that's another one. And you can stretch that out for as long as you want, because you can have 4 on one side and 4 on the other side. And Hikuleo has to get involved somewhere. He's a New Japan guy that apparently has been signed by WWE, and that's great. WWE rarely takes a step wrong with the bloodline angle, so I'm not going to get too mad about it. But I'm going with Cody. I think overall, that's a pretty good lineup, right? I think I've done quite well there. That's not true. And I really need to start documenting these so we can come back to it. But we absolutely will. But just to sum it up, and I've got them written down here, Damien beats Gunther, Nia beats Bayley, Liv Morgan beats Rhea, Cody beats Solo, LA Knight beats Logan Paul, Sami Zayn loses to Braun Breaker, don't know why I did that way round, and Drew McIntyre beats CM Punk. But none of this matters. All that matters is what you think. Do it in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell. Click the bell notification, but click the video on the screen too, which will be me telling you about those SummerSlam matches. And listen, if you go to Gorilla Mind this week, it is the 30th of July today, and use the code Simon. You not only get 10% off everything, but Strawberry Kiwi pre-workout is 30% off at the moment. That's right, 30% off. It's the best pre-workout you can try. All the flavors are good anyway, so I implore you, ships worldwide, give it a go. If you don't like it, I would be amazed. It's also patreon.com/Simon316. You can sign up for a Go Fitness. I get Anthony Agogo's fitness app for Simon 20 and get money off. It's really, really good. You can do it at home as well. That's the whole point of it. Instagram and Twitter and Threads is Simon316. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo, personalized videos. Did about 5 birthdays this week, and that made me happy. So if you want to join in, please do. Otherwise, it's prowrestlingtees.com/Simon or samsonathletics.co.uk/Simon Miller. Both Simon Miller, forgive me, in the URL. It's all down there in the description. Buy your warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum shirt today. Otherwise, that's it. It's SummerSlam week. Enjoy it. It does come but once a year. And next year, it's going to be 2 nights. I will see you soon.